Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got that fourth game here in this best-of-7 matchup between Sonic and EGiNcontroL. It has been a lovely series thus far. EGiNcontroL taking early 2 games there, Wendy, and now we're in this position where it is kind of turning the tide a little bit, hopefully for Sonic. We're going to see him going into Game 4, finally picking up that last game, and we'll see if he can continue that kind of winning streak, if you will. But EGiNcontroL, I'd say, with that one-base play, it was a little bit risky. Of course, he does have the wiggle room to make that happen. So, Wendy, what do you think here for game number 4?
I think it was a great choice to go for that play out of EGiNcontroL last game. It's a little bit risky, like you said, but he has that wiggle room. And then if he had won with that, I think Sonic would have been in such a mental position that says, man, I just lost to a 4-gate Warp Prism all-in on Shakira's Plateau. My map pick, relatively, I would say, most people would say a Terran-favored map. Just plenty of areas to abuse siege tank positioning and, plenty of dead air for medevacs to hang out in. That idea of if I can take a risk and get even more ahead, the risk is worth the reward. And if I don't, well, I'm still up a game and I can just go back to playing standard and I'll be totally fine. But it looks like Sonic taking a risk of his own here. Ooh, Sonic, you cheeky little guy, you.
Interesting play. I mean, this is what you can do on a 2-player map. You don't have to scout their spawn location. You know exactly where they are. He did sneak that SCV over there right away. And I don't know, Wendy, we'll see. I mean, EGiNcontroL probably going to have his early Zealot out. We haven't seen him do anything different thus far. So my guess is that EGiNcontroL probably is going to be okay here.
Yeah, you know what? It depends on how Sonic plays this out. And if EGiNcontroL acknowledges what exactly is happening, and if he can scout out where that barracks is going down, because he skirted right by the SCV building their barracks, and it looks like it'll be a Marauder play. I think once he comes in here and sees what is going on, doesn't see a barracks, sees a gas, to me, okay, this is a pretty standard proxy Marauder play. Of course, don't forget, I mean, it could just easily be a metagame, and he could have the barracks inside his natural. You can see EGiNcontroL wasting a little bit of time scanning out the entire base, and that's what you want to do with these kind of plays, is just really freak out your opponent into either thinking, is he metagaming me, or is he anti-metagaming me, or, is he trying all sorts of Jedi mind tricks on me?
Right. Now, we did get an early Tech Lab coming out. Obviously, right away, we're going for the Marauder. Marauder going to be very strong in this position, and Sonic's going to need it at this point. But no second racks going down, so he's going to be relying on 1 unit production at a time. This is a little bit scary here. I think EGiNcontroL might be completely prepared for this. You can see he scouted out with the Zealot, and he's going to go ahead and back up and get himself prepared for the push up into his main. Use every single little bit of time that he can to be prepared. And he's tossing down a second gateway here. This is just perfect play coming out of EGiNcontroL right now.
Yeah, he's even getting a second zone, which is what he needs to do. It's going to make it a lot more difficult to kite with those Marauders. And, EGiNcontroL picked off that probe. Marauders now, 1 Marauder in here. Zealots do come out. Now this is going to really force Sonic in a very, very tight situation. He has to micro 2 Marauders against 2 Zealots, and let's hand it to him. I mean, Zealots have an easier time in this situation. Look at that control, though. He hits both Zealots with both Marauders in the slow. Now transitioning into trying to hit them both. He will be able to take off these Marauders. Nice job blocking the other one and really abusing the AI around those mineral lines. Here he goes. Now he's going to be able to pick off this one as well. And it looks like Marauder in an engagement against that Stalker, and I don't know. Sonic took a big risk, and I don't think it paid off as well as he'd like.
I don't think so either. He's got these 2 Marauders. They do need to start joining the fight here. Otherwise, EGiNcontroL is going to be in phenomenal shape. And he's already got 2 Stalkers out on the field. The Chronos are going well on 2 more. And, oh man, I feel like this is already held off in many regards. EGiNcontroL, with his, just perfect reactions this far, paying off in spades right now, and he's going to have no trouble holding this off this one.
Yeah, and there he goes. Those 2 Marauders are so weak. Not even going to be able to pick off one of the Stalkers. Going to micro it back. Marauder going to push forward. I don't think that was the best decision out of Sonic. He's going to go ahead and retreat with this barracks. He does have the research on the concussive shells. I wonder what his next decision is going to be here. He really didn't come out ahead in that situation. Now he has to fly this barracks all the way back home.
Look at this from EGiNcontroL. This is such smart play. He's going to be moving his Stalkers out across the map right now. I feel like he may even go for some pressure, some counter pressure right away. Sonic getting prepared for just that idea. He's putting down a bunker here. But man, he is so far behind right now, Wendy. I don't know how he can come back, quite honestly. What would you do?
Me, I would just say GG. That's the kind of play that it either works or it doesn't. But with this bunker here, a lot of Stalkers coming forward, gonna be able to, I think, easily focus down. And he will get 1 Stalker. 2 more Marines do pop out, gonna pop right into the bunker. SCV's coming off the line to repair. and they will go ahead and pick off one Marine before losing just one of the Stalkers, other one taking pretty significant hull damage, and now Sonic can be a little bit aggressive. Sonic has seen that his opponent did go for a Nexus after that 2-gate transition, so maybe Sonic does have a little bit of wiggle room. If EGiNcontroL gives him maybe a little bit too much berth, he can easily macro out of this and come out ahead with, maybe a really late command center. It really depends on what Sonic is thinking here.
Well, you can see on the unit stab, 21 SCVs, it's not a bad position, but he's lost so much at this point. And just the time alone is really the key factor here. But, we'll see. He definitely has a shot still. He's not out of the game completely, but now, look at EGiNcontrol's base. We've got his second Nexus up and running that he's going to have some serious mining time here in just a few moments. A little bit of transfer headed out there, as well as now a robotics facility. So he's choosing his tech path here, and I'd say these decisions are just going extremely well right now.
Oh, absolutely, Nak. What can you do in Sonic's position? You're in a situation where you went for a risk. It didn't pay off as well as you'd like. It did a little bit of damage. At the very least, you kind of forced an awkward build out of your Protoss opponent, but now you're stuck with a Bioforce that, well, you will have Stim very shortly, and you do have 4 racks to produce off of. You're not going to really have the sustained army that you would with Medivacs and, a 2-base play. He could go for Medivacs eventually, but I think he's just going to try and do a really strong Stim timing push. And, you know what? It might work. EGiNcontroL only has 2 gates, and he hasn't. Does he have any Immortals out? No, he doesn't.
Not quite
Sentries
yet.
will help, but this is going to be a pretty strong follow-up push from Sonic. If EGiNcontroL holds this, game goes to him,
right?
And Sonic just loses flat out. But
well, Sonic's got a small window of opportunity here, but this is not working well. He tried to move up that ramp. Not a smart spot to try and move. I would have gone around to the third first, and you can see EGiNcontroL cleaning these units up. Really, really phenomenal stuff out of him. Great splitting there. Using 3 force fields, but I'd say well worth the cost there. He is pulling in some more Stalkers. Is Sonic going to take the time to bust down these rocks? And I think that's exactly what he's got to do if he wants to use this particular ramp, Wendy. I want to mention, though, very quickly that StyloZerg out on the live stream made a comment. And he says that, EGiNcontroL doesn't want Terran to make not to take an expo at this point. He doesn't want him to expand. He wants him to just make units and kind of go all in because he feels like he can hold that. And that's exactly what's happening here. EGiNcontroL is in phenomenal shape right now, and Sonic is going all in, and it's partially because of EGiNcontrol's little counterattack there. It's bought him enough time to make Sonic say to himself, well, the best thing to do is to try and go for a big push once again. And now we're in this really sticky position where that's failing hardcore. He can't move up that ramp. There's too many force fields available, and now he's kind of flailing as to, well, what do I do? What do I do in this position? And if he loses this, that's going to make it match point here for EGiNcontroL.
Yeah, and that's the risky situation. Great, great response out of reviewers right there. Really, I love how intelligent the esports community can be sometimes. It just really shows you how many people really love the game at more than just it's a game level. It's more than that. But here he goes. Sonic is going to go ahead and move the ramp. He's going to try and bait on force field. Does get 2 Marines picked off. Will save them, though. So 3 force fields actually baited out in total. Good number of sentries. I think if Sonic, he's even pulling SCVs. That's a smart decision, actually. I think this is what he might need. If he can break through this, he might be able to win, so long as EGiNcontroL cannot warp him. But here he goes. Only cuts off a little bit of the army, but I think a good portion of it is going to be not enough to go ahead and take out all these Immortals. Immortals doing so much damage. Stalkers as well. SCV is trying to do the damage they can. Could stim up one more time. Force fields have no broken. We'll come in for a second volley, and I think he actually might be able to break through this Snack. I cannot believe it. EGiNcontrol's so high up in supply. Didn't pull workers of his own. Should have. When he realized that Sonic had pulled workers, and now he's in a really desperate situation here.
Yeah, he's got to be very careful. He is pulling his probes right now. He probably is going to be able to end up holding this off and stabilize, which is going to cost Sonic the game. And there's the GG. I think Sonic noticed there at that point that there was enough probes just there at the natural where all he had to do was pull, and that was it. So great game, but that makes it match point here, Wendy. Oh my goodness, EGiNcontroL on absolute fire here. Giving Sonic, man, some serious trouble.
I don't think it was in Sonic's best interest to go for a risk. Maybe he felt that wasn't a map that he could win on, considering it was EGiNcontrol's pick.